Today on For the Record,
we couldn't be more excited for the world to see what Pittsburgh has in store. And
1 month to the NFL Draft.
Pittsburgh's going to be the best one yet.
I speak with the insiders making it happen.
We're talking about local food, local music, really our culture being put on full display.
And find out how this event will change the lives of so many young football players.
Their story, their history, their legacy will be tied back to Pittsburgh because this is the first step and an amazing career for them.
For the Record starts now. Welcome to For the Record. We're outside Acrisure Stadium, where 1 month from now, over 500,000 people in attendance and the eyes of the world will be on the North Shore for the 2026 NFL Draft. But is Pittsburgh ready? And what will those 3 days look like? And what will be the lasting impact? Well, we sit down with three people who will set the stage for us, beginning with Dan Rooney, the Vice President of Business and Strategy for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's really just excitement. You know, we're right around a month out from the big NFL draft right here on the North Shore and over at Point State Park, and we couldn't be more excited for the world to see what Pittsburgh has in store, and it's just going to be a special occasion leading up to and through.
How about the National Football League? You work with them very closely on this. What are they saying about the preparations that we get closer to that actual first pick and drafting on the 23rd of April?
Yeah, the NFL was in a few weeks ago for their final, call it site visit and logistical meetings that took place. Several meetings in store, and you know, everyone feels good about the planning. This is a well thought out event that the NFL does every single year. Each year it's different due to location and what the community has to offer. And you know, we're excited that Pittsburgh's going to be the best one yet. And as I said, we have around a month to finalize planning and really unveil an event that fans will love of all ages.
How about the challenges for them? I mean, they've done this before in other cities, but never on a river. With two locations and a river separating the two.
Yeah. The draft is customized each year to the location the NFL selects, and with our North Shore campus, our bridges across the rivers to Point State Park, it provides just a unique setting for this football festival, and I just think aesthetically it's going to be a beautiful environment, a natural amphitheater for one of the biggest events the NFL has to offer, and I think it's going to be the perfect location to put this on in Pittsburgh.
Any concerns at all as we get closer? Any logistics that still need to be worked out that you're still working on?
We're focused on planning right now and making sure everyone's buttoned up. Several entities involved in this planning process, from the NFL to local officials, and the conversations are daily at this point, and no stone will be left unturned. And it's really about just football fans, Steeler fans having a great week, a great 3 days at this event. So we feel good.
Let's talk about the event now. Everybody I talked to is excited, but they're not sure what to expect other than the drafting of players. You've been to a number of these. What should fans expect to see and experience during the draft?
Yeah, I would suggest for football fans, download NFL One Pass. The information is now live inside the app to take a look at in terms of what to expect when you come down to the North Shore or over to Point State Park. But you're going to see a festival, a massive football festival spanning the locations we're talking about and into the community. Football clinics that will take place inside Acrisure Stadium as well as fields across the city. We're talking about local food, local music, really our culture being put on full display. You're able to run the 40-yard dash and see if you're faster than DK Metcalf, or kick a field goal inside Acrisure and see how you stack up against Chris Boswell. So there's something for all ages, football fans and non-football fans alike. And it's going to be jam-packed action that it'll be an event that the city has never seen before. The Steelers country activation over at Point State Park is going to be a really neat activation where Steelers fans can gather and celebrate what it means to be a part of Steelers Nation. And when you go to Point State Park, you'll see the black and gold display in full amplification, and you'll be able to interact with former players and current players and get autographs. And it's going to be really neat to see the number of terrible towels assembled over at Point State Park, what we're calling Steelers country.
One thing you talked about was telling the story of Pittsburgh during this draft, before the draft and obviously during the draft. Why is that important?
Yeah, you know, the story of Pittsburgh, our you know, history and our marriage to the sport of football is important just because we're so proud of it as Pittsburghers, and all the great players and coaches and scouts that come from this area. We know about all those icons, but we now want the rest of the football world to know about it. And you can see that in the football film over at the Cayman Science Center, the football town, narrated by Pat McAfee, did a fantastic job putting that story together in partnership with NFL Films. And that's just a story we're extremely proud of, and that'll be on full display throughout the week of the draft. Bringing back Steelers greats and Western PA greats. You'll see them on stage helping to make picks. So it's going to be a very neat occasion.
One thing you've done is gone to surrounding counties, Washington, Beaver, Butler, speaking with people down there about the draft. What have you told them, and what have their questions been for you about what to expect?
Yeah, I think the questions are, you know, how is Western Pennsylvania involved? It's not just a Pittsburgh event, it's a regional event, and, you know, we're encouraging all of the local businesses and, you know, just the towns and cities inside of Western PA to be ready for, you know, north of 500,000 people attending this event, and that will certainly populate outside of the North Shore and Point State Park. It's going to spill out into the city in our counties, and you know, just come out to the draft, have a great time, but also within your local community, stay ready for the influx of people and show off what you guys are made of, because it's a special area, and the draft gives us that chance to display it to the world.
The region will benefit, the city will benefit, of course. What about for the Steeler organization? What do you get out of hosting the NFL draft?
I mean, it's really an event for Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are proud of where we come from and what our community is made of. So the fact that the commissioner picked this site for 2026 really just spoke volumes to what Pittsburgh's made of and what we're looking like going forward. So that's the part we're most excited about, putting our city out there for the world to see and for football fans to enjoy. And, you know, everyone coming in for that draft, they're going to see a city that is, you know, a special place from our football history to, you know, what we have in the future, you know, our innovation from technology to AI to tech and meds. We're filled with a bright future that we're ready to put on display.
Still ahead on For the Record.
It's an exciting opportunity for Pittsburgh to really shine.
The head of Visit Pittsburgh on how Pittsburgh is getting ready for its moment in the international spotlight. Welcome back to For the Record. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be the host for the 2026 NFL Draft, but it takes several groups to pull off the biggest event that Pittsburgh has ever seen. Organizations like Visit Pittsburgh. Here's my conversation with their president and CEO, Jared Bachar. How are you feeling about the draft as we get ready to host the football world?
It's an exciting time. You know, the work that we've done over the last 2.5 years or so is really culminating on what's going to happen in about a month's time. It's an exciting opportunity for Pittsburgh to really shine, and certainly us putting it on a global stage, putting the city on a global stage, is an incredible opportunity for everyone.
Will Pittsburgh be ready?
We will. There's a lot of details that go into an event of this size, as we know, especially an event that has 2 different sites with Point State Park and the North Shore. So there's a lot of components that go into planning an event of this size. So everything will continue to move forward and will come together all the way up until the very close of the event. But we're in a good place.
Are there any concerns? I mean, obviously, as you plan for something this big, there's always things that you do worry about.
Well, I think it's just getting it right, or as right as possible. You know, there's so many different things that we were trying to accomplish beyond just the direct economic benefit of this event. There's a lot of other things that we want to make sure that Pittsburgh achieves in this by making sure that we're reintroducing Pittsburgh and to a greater extent to a global audience, making sure that Pittsburgh shines well for its residents at the same time as they're coming down to enjoy this. But it really really is about making sure that we get everything as right as we possibly can, and at the end of the day, remembering what this draft is all about. These young men have worked their entire careers to get to this point. Their story, their history, their legacy will be tied back to Pittsburgh because this is the first step and an amazing career for them.
You mentioned telling the story of Pittsburgh. Why is that important in the grand scheme of things here?
It's an opportunity. It's not only an opportunity for us to tell those 500,000 to 700,000 fans who are here in Pittsburgh enjoying the draft for what it is as an event, but it's also about those 50 million viewers worldwide and the global media that will be focused on Pittsburgh throughout those 3 days. It's an opportunity for us to reintroduce Pittsburgh in many ways to people who just don't know the city. It's an incredible time to tell the story beyond just football.
Security. The plan is set. Any concerns there?
I think we're in good shape there. We have incredible public safety officials here locally, which are doing a phenomenal job of working together as a community. They have been meeting on a weekly basis for several months now, really talking about all aspects of the draft to make sure that it's not only just a safe experience, but a fun experience at the same time. So our local officials on a city, county, and state level have been working with federal level agencies, NFL security, making sure that we're looking at the entire landscape to create a really safe environment for everybody to enjoy.
Now, I know people are looking forward to hearing more about parking and transportation. That'll be coming up in the coming weeks?
It will. So at the end of March, we'll have a full release of all of our transportation plans with our partners at PRT, our various parking organizations, the city, all of the agencies that are involved with our overall transportation plan will be released at the end of March.
Economically, what could this mean for this region, these 3 days?
It's an incredible opportunity for us to make sure that we take advantage of the economic benefits of the draft for our entire community. And there's a few things that we've done to ensure that. First of all, trying to set expectations. We've done a lot of research on economic benefit to all of the previous host cities, in particular the most recent ones of Green Bay, Detroit, and Kansas City, making sure that we understand the benefits that they were able to obtain in their local markets, and then setting our expectations based on those previous records. For us, it's also about making sure that not only is that NFL, or the benefit from the NFL draft delivered, but it's also how do we make sure that that permeates into our local market as much as possible. So we've done a lot of work with the Steelers and the NFL to create a source program where we're identifying small companies, minority-owned companies, women-owned companies, companies that really have an opportunity to benefit from an event of this size. So that has been launched over the last 18 months, and we're really excited to see what that proves for some of our smaller businesses as well.
This might be hard to answer, but when the draft is all said and done, what is a successful NFL draft in Pittsburgh? What does that look like?
There's a lot of levels of success that we're measuring. So we've set out some very specific metrics that we want to achieve through this. There's the attendance numbers. We want to make sure that the attendance here in Pittsburgh is robust. We also want to make sure that out of that attendance comes great economic benefit. So making sure that we're driving that number as well as driving the number of attendees, but also driving the economic benefit from those fans that are here. Those are the basic metrics that we're using, but also the PR and earned media metrics are also important. How do we make sure that Pittsburgh's story is being reached to consumers all over the world, that we're shaping the minds not only of football fans, but travel consumers, investors, people who are thinking about relocating somewhere for work, making sure that they see Pittsburgh as a really robust, attractive destination for all types of things, whether they want to live here, they want to invest here, they want to go to school here. Those stories are absolutely critical for us. And then there's a lot of legacy that's coming out of the draft, including our environmental programs. We have a great partnership with the Western PA Conservancy, with Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy, with the City Forestry, on making sure that the environmental impact from this lives on far beyond the draft. We also want to remind people that this is an event. This is an event that is free to attend. There is no cost to attend for families, so it's important for them to also come down and really get some experiences that are low and no cost for them to come down and really take advantage of everything that's on offer. And don't be afraid of the traffic and parking. There's going to be a lot of people around, but that's okay. Just be patient, come down, and it's going to be a fantastic time.
Still ahead.
What you've seen is using this draft as kind of a rallying cry for, hey, let's make some strategic investments. It's cleaner, it's safer.
The work being done to create a once-in-a-lifetime event for the NFL Draft in Pittsburgh. Welcome back to For the Record. The 2026 NFL Draft will take place here on the North Shore and across the Allegheny at Point State Park. But downtown Pittsburgh could benefit the most from this event. Here's my conversation with Jeremy Waldrop, the president and CEO of the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership. Here we are a month out from the NFL Draft here in Pittsburgh. Personally, how do you feel as we get near the big event?
Personally, I'm excited. I mean, we have a lot of work to do, but just to see the community come together, everybody's reaching out wanting to get engaged, and we're excited to welcome the NFL fan base to downtown Pittsburgh.
Two things I'm always asked. Arts Landing, Market Square. Will they be ready in time?
They are most definitely going to be ready. If you go through Market Square, there's a 95% chance you're going to see someone working in that space. We are working 7 days a week. It will be done. Trees are getting planted as we speak. Roadways are opening. And basically every day I walk through and it's kind of a jigsaw puzzle that's getting put together. But there are more pieces in the puzzle now. So we're feeling really good about it. And Arts Landing, I just did a tour of it. It's looking fantastic. It's a lot of mud right now, but the amazing things that sod can do. So this is a $45 million investment in these two public spaces. And, you know, we love a good deadline. This draft is making us get them done really quickly. It makes decisions like yes or no. But it's going to be such a great asset for the region for, you know, years and years to come.
How will those spaces be used during the draft?
So during the draft, Arts Landing is going to be hosting Pitt Athletics. So we're going to have a ton of football activations, really welcoming ACC Nation into the draft as well. Market Square is going to have a whole host of our corporate partners, live music at both spaces throughout the day. We're also going to have some things going on in PPG Plaza. We know that these are going to be places that people are kind of passing through. We want you to maybe grab some lunch at one of the restaurants that's going to have completely new outdoor dining in that space, and then just kind of celebrate Pittsburgh. We'll have some tchotchkes out there, some giveaways, just kind of a fun community-based experience for everyone.
Will there be other events going on in downtown Pittsburgh over the course of those 3 days?
You know, the big focus is the draft, right? We want folks to get into Point State Park and into the North Shore and kind of experience all that, but all of our restaurants are going to be lit up. We're going to be closing a section of 6th Street right in the heart of the Cultural District with a little fan experience there, so you can maybe grab a beer at Redbeard's, grab some food on your walk from Point State Park over into the North Shore. So there'll be things happening, and there's a lot of private events. The corporations are having things in their conference rooms and the like, but the real experience will be in the draft footprint.
So the city becomes almost like a gateway to and from the draft.
Most definitely. We're going to have thousands of folks staying in our hotel rooms downtown, and before gates open, we want folks to feel like there's plenty of activities going on. But yeah, we know that people are here to see football, and we're excited to get them to it.
So how do businesses, like these pop-up businesses I've heard about, how are they going to benefit from the draft, and how is that going to be set up? Well,
so everything that we're doing, really, that deadline for opening is the draft, but many of these things are 6 months to 6 years that they'll be in downtown Pittsburgh. So we have a ton of public art, so don't feel like you have to see it all on the weekend, but restaurants are going to be spilling out onto the sidewalks and really trying to find ways to engage that football community. So a lot of our makers are partnering with local small businesses that are already in downtown and bringing new product mix that they think that these folks will want to have. But this is really a long game for all of us. We see this, again, as an opportunity to get it done, but expect a whole spring, summer, fall, holiday season chock full of events in these new public spaces and these new businesses. We've had 24 new businesses open up in the last 18 months. We're expecting probably 20 more in pop-up and some of them in permanent before the draft, with an ultimate goal of 30 additional following that, so that you will see our streets begin to transform and just provide that vibrancy and activity that you want in your downtown.
Do you have to temper expectations of these businesses that will be there after the draft? Because let's be honest, you're not going to have 500,000 people coming through the following weekend. Maybe because you're the marathon, you might.
Sounds like we're going to have. I think it's about 60,000 people coming through for that one. So yeah, I mean, downtown Pittsburgh, particularly in the beginning of the summer, is going to be packed. So you mentioned the draft, or we have the draft. We have P3R and the marathon. Then we're opening up a roller skating rink immediately following that in Market Square. And then you have the Three Rivers Arts Festival, Juneteenth, Pride, the America 250 celebrations with the culmination of the 4th of July, then Picklesburg. So I mean, it is just kind of a big barrage of events. So while we will not have 500,000 folks, we'll be having tens of thousands of people into downtown basically every weekend throughout the summer months.
So will Pittsburgh's downtown be transformed by this event? I mean, we're seeing some changes already physically, but in terms of the makeup of the business community, the restaurant choices, is there a transformation that will take place following the draft?
Absolutely, and that really is the concerted effort of many coming together and saying, hey, what do we want our downtown to be? You know, COVID was rough on our downtown, on downtowns around the country, but what you've seen is using this draft as kind of a rallying cry for, hey, let's make some strategic investments. You know, it's cleaner, it's safer. We have an additional lighting plan that's going on. We have murals popping up. We're painting bridges, for Christ's sakes. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening. People have complained about that bridge on Liberty and Penn Avenue for generations almost. And this is getting done really because of the draft and our ability to say, hey, we want to get it done. Let's make it happen.
So what does a successful draft, in your mind, look like?
Well, if the weather gods could shine down on us and give us some sunshine and some 50-degree weather, that would be amazing. But for us, I mean, it really is highlighting our beautiful city. We want, you know, there's a huge drive audience coming in with all these NFL markets that are within, you know, a half a day's drive. We want those folks to fall in love with our city and to plan another visit. We want them to come back for the Arts Festival. We want them to come for Picklesburg or the holidays. We want them to find that restaurant that they loved and say, hey, I'm gonna come back and do this again because it's such a great place. Beautiful riverfronts, they're gonna be pristine for the draft, and we plan to keep them that way. And so we want those visitors to feel like they didn't see enough of Pittsburgh and to come back not once, twice, 3 times again and experience the city.
Keep it right here, because in 2 minutes, I'll tell you how you can experience the NFL draft without ever having to leave your home. Welcome back to For the Record, just outside Acrisure Stadium, home of the 2026 NFL Draft. And don't forget, the only place to see every selection locally is right here on WTAE Channel 4. Live draft coverage April 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month for the 2026 NFL Draft. Until then, have a good week.